What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Cullination Media, and welcome back for another part of our comeback showdown session, whatever you want to call it. We are jumping back into the NU tier again today with the same team as last time, and we had some okay luck last time, I guess. Actually, no, scratch that. We had some really bad luck. The last battle was just craziness, so hopefully we don't run into ridiculous hacks like that as we try to get ourselves up the ladder a little bit this time and hope to face some more, competitively inclined players. Now, this is a pretty interesting team. This is a fat team. Oh my goodness. Regice, Regirock, Quagsire, Girder, and is that going to be defensive Xatu also? That is just fatness all over the place. Now, I was hoping he was going to lead off with Quagsire, so that's why I decided to go with Samuel here, and he's going to leave it in. Yep, he does leave it in, and we just grass knot it, and Quaggy is gone on turn 1, and that means that we can just fire off Hydro Pumps later on in the match, and that is really bad news for especially Regirock, but really nothing on his team is going to be able to take that very well other than this Regice, and that's why he goes into it here, and he tries to go for the Charge Beam, which is actually pretty cool that he's even carrying that. Maybe it's like a Salt Vest Regice or something, but he's gonna forfeit, so we're just gonna go ahead and get into another battle because yeah, we are not just gonna hang around after forfeits. I mean, it's 3 points too, so I'm not even gonna complain about it. Not even gonna complain. That is what the bottom of the ladder is pretty much for every tier. You make one play or something doesn't go their way and they'll just forfeit, so it's a nice way to gather some points kind of quickly. But let's see, we're going to start off with Mawile here because I see that he has a Scyther and he has no way to remove hazards, which is really not a good combination for him, so I am going to set up Stealth Rock at all costs here. Basically, I really didn't care who he led off with. The only way I would switch would be maybe if he led off with Golurk, but I really didn't think he was going to do that. He ends up leading off with the Lantern, and he's going to Volt Switch as he does outspeed me, and that really doesn't do too much damage. I mean, I guess it's kind of a lot considering it's a Lantern that we're talking about here, and I do have like max HP investment, so I guess that is kind of a lot. But we get up the rocks, and that is really what's important here because that's going to whittle down all of his Pokemon pretty much, and the Scyther is going to be neutered essentially. So I am going to make another switch here because it's very likely that he could go for the Earthquake. That's what I would expect him to want to go for. So I'm going to switch in Weezing here, and I don't think he's going to go for Head Charge. And even if he does, I don't think it's going to do that much damage. He does not predict me to go into Weezing. He does go for Superpower though. I'm guessing he does not have Earthquake then, if that's his only attack to hit me with. So he's got Superpower, Head Charge, Mega Horn, and what else? Pursuit? Does this thing get Pursuit? I don't know what else he would carry. Most of the time they do just have Earthquake, but I'm in a good position here because he has to switch, especially because he used Superpower, so he drops his attack and defense, and he's going to lose all momentum here. So I can go for Will-O-Wisp, I can set up Toxic Spikes, pretty much whatever I want to do, and I think I'm going to go for Will here to get a burn on something before I start laying my Toxic Spikes down, but unfortunately, as he switches his Lantern, I'm going to miss the Willow. Figures. I should have just gone for the Toxic Spikes. That was the sure thing. He has no way to get rid of that either. The only thing he might have going for him here is that this Lantern could be carrying Heal Bell, so he could bring it in to heal off all the poisoning, but as soon as his Pokemon come back in, they're going to get poisoned again. With the exception of Scyther and the Mesprit, of course, but there's a little asterisk there with Scyther because it's going to take 50% or 49%, what have you, and so I'm going to just talk to this thing, and that's really my only play. I don't know why he went for Volt Switch there. I guess he predicted me to Hard Switch. Why would I do that, though? There's no reason for me to switch out here because an opposing Lantern can't do anything to me other than possibly score a burn with a Scald or maybe Toxic himself. But I'm going to go for Scald here, get a little bit of damage. If he decides to switch, maybe I'll get a burn on something. Oh, okay, he has Water Absorb. Alrighty then, that is why he went for Volt Switch. He thought I was also Water Absorb, but I'm not, because you just almost never see I mean, the meta has changed a little bit, I would assume, with some of the tier shifts recently and all that jazz, but I don't think that water absorb lantern is a thing unless I'm really just that out of touch, which is possible. Before I know that Volt Absorb was the only way to go. But anyway, we exchanged some Toxics and Heal Bells there, and he's going to actually make a switch here as I make a switch, and so this is not a good matchup for me. I was going to go for the win there, try to set up Quiver Dances, because there was absolutely nothing that the opposing Lantern was going to be able to do to me. If he was going to Toxic, which is what I predicted him to do, it would have just been cured off by the Lumberry anyway, and then he was either going to have to switch or Toxic me again, and I was just going to boost up, and it was going to be a bad time for him. The only downside would have been this Bouffalant. If it is carrying Sap Sipper, I really don't know at this point, because he had a Water Absorb Lantern. So it could have been a sweep. It could have been derailed by the Bouffalant. I don't know. I was just trying to get off something offensive-ish. But yeah, I figured he was going to want to switch there, so I decided to go for the Baton Pass, and he does go out into his Golurk, and I'm going to make the play into Samuel here. Now, I'm really afraid of that Lantern coming in. It kind of screws everything up here, because I can't just spam Hydro Pump, thanks to it having Water Absorb. But I don't know if he's going to want to bring it out here, to be completely honest with you. So I'm just going to Hydro Pump anyway, and he does in fact leave his Golurk out. I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe he thought it wasn't going to be that useful, but if he could bring it in on Mawile, it could kill that. It could do a lot of damage to my Combusken. Kind of a useful Pokemon. He just lets it go, and I'm going to switch Angla into the predicted Volt Switch there, so that kills any extra momentum he was going to gain. And I can click Volt Switch because he's Water Absorb. I'm loving that. I'm loving that. It's all kind of going in my favor here, with the exception of that missed Will-O-Wisp, but I really don't think that's going to turn out to be that big of a deal. So he's going to go out into his Granbull here. Shiny Granbull. Get the Intimidate off, so I'm guessing it's going to be defensive, although that Volt Switch did 24%. That kind of feels like a lot. Most Granbulls are defensive, but that really doesn't mean anything. I really enjoy the Assault Vest variant. Not nearly as good as the defensive variant, but it's kind of fun. I really want to try a Choice Banded set and catch some peeps off guard, although I don't know if I would. I don't know if that's common now. I don't know anything, basically. I'm clueless. I am clueless. So I'm going to go into Weezing because that is my safest play. I thought about trying to possibly take the match by going out into Combusken and setting up, but I'm not going to worry about that because I don't want to throw away this game because he's running some weird stuff. So I'm just going to click Sludge Bomb. I figured he might want to go out into his Mesprit there, actually. But he does not do that. He just leaves his Granbull out to die to the Sludge Bomb, and now he's going to go out to his Scyther and take 49% due to the Stealth Rocks. And I'm going to burn him with this Will-O-Wisp if we manage to hit by some miracle, as he reveals that he is not a choiced variant. He is carrying the Eviolite, but we do get off the burn, and I could taunt him. He's probably SD Roost, but even if he gets up an SD, he's not really going to be able to do anything to Weezing, and I can always intimidate him again with Mawile, and he can't really touch Mawile either, so he's just going to go for the Aerial Ace. That does absolutely nothing. And I do get up my first layer of Toxic Spikes. That's very important for helping to whittle down that Lantern, which could be a problem because my main answer to that would be Lilligant, and as long as the Bouffalant is alive, if it has Sap Sipper, Giga Draining could be dangerous. So that is that. I'm going to taunt him here as he did get up an SD and a Roost. So he is at +2 right now, but that is kind of negated by the burn, essentially. And I'm going to take advantage of Mawile's Intimidate by switching in here, and he has U-Turn. U-Turn, Aerial Ace, Swords Dance, Roost. Why are you carrying Swords Dance and U-Turn on the same set? I'm confused. I mean, I think I've done that with Scizor way back in the X and Y days, but it really just isn't an optimal thing to, you know, pair together. But I don't know. Who am I to judge? He's going to go out and do his Bouffalant here, and he decides to go for Superpower. It does 60%. Chains is surviving with 1%, and of course, we're going to miss the Play Rough. I don't think that was going to kill. Actually, it may have, because his defense dropped. Well, that's a bit unfortunate. He's going to go for Superpower again, and Mawile, unfortunately, is not going to be able to take that one. I don't know why he didn't go for a different move there, but it is possible that he is choiced. We didn't see an item. Yeah, he's not like carrying lefties or anything, right? So, yeah, he could very well be choiced and just locked into Superpower. This is good news for me. This is very good news for me because I can set up to win the match right now with Combusken because he didn't go for Earthquake before. So if he was like Assault Vest or something, I don't think it would matter here if he just happens to have the Earthquake. I don't think he does because, yeah, he would have gone for it before, basically. You know, he had Mawile just sitting there for a while. Mawile sitting there for a while, yes, unintended rhyme. But basically, he had a chance earlier on, and he didn't go for it. And what is going on? The server is having issues. Okay, let's reload here and hope that... Did my move not go through, or what? What is happening? I don't know what is happening. Oh, I have to choose my thing again. Okay, that was very strange. And the timer is on, but I still have 150 seconds to make my decision. I don't know what's happening. I'm making the same play. We're going into Combusken. We're clicking Sword Stance. He cannot kill me. His attack is at -2. And I'm pretty sure he's locked into Superpower. So, yeah, we're just going to set up here and basically win the match. Because, yeah, we're going to get the speed boost. If he goes into his Scyther, I can protect. I guess, just to ensure that I am faster than every possible variant. And Mesprit too, because that could be Choice Scarf. So we should be able, at +2, we should be able to kill everything with a Flare Blitz or a Sky Uppercut, provided we hit the Sky Uppercuts, of course. But he's taking kind of a long time here. Taking a long time. I don't know if it's server trouble or if he thought I left when I restarted it there. I don't really know what's happening. Hopefully he decides to choose a move soon. Okay, so he ended up just disconnecting, or not disconnecting, but timing out. So we get the victory there. I think we kind of had that in the bag there anyway, barring some crazy shenanigans, of course. I guess you never know, but it looked like we were on the right path to potentially get a victory there. But anyway, we're going to get another battle here. And this is yet another team that has no answer to hazards. And he's got 2 Pokemon weak to rock, too, in Jinx and the Magmortar. Is this all shiny? Is that Jinx shiny? I can't tell. Everything else is definitely shiny. Regirock, that's just freaking cool. I love the color scheme. Pretty amazing, but I'm going to predict him to lead off with the Regirock, lead with Weezing so I can taunt him, prevent rocks from getting up on my side of the field. That's exactly what he goes for, so he plays right into my hand there, and now I get a free Toxic Spike, and he's going to have no way to remove that. He goes for Stone Edge. That's not doing nearly enough. I could Will-O-Wisp here, but I'm not going to because he might predict that and go into his Magmortar. I don't want him to get a free switch. He actually goes out into his Cradily as I get up the second layer of Toxic Spikes. And that's a little bit unfortunate, but I'm still going to taunt him. I don't know if this is going to have Stealth Rocks as well, or if it's going to be offensive. And it is definitely offensive as he goes for the Ancient Power, and that does 40%. Yikes. So I could stay out for another turn, but I kind of want to save this for later because I just do. I just do. It could be very useful for the Malamar. Every time I see a Malamar, I am... more inclined to keep Weezing around because this particular set has EV set up just to beat Malamar one-on-one most of the time. Unless they carry like Psycho Cut or something, then not so much. But I'm going to go into Mawile here. I don't really have much of a switch in. Lantern would be my especially defensive Pokemon, but switching in and then getting Giga Drained is not really going to help me. So I'm kind of going to sacrifice Mawile's health here just to get up Stealth Rocks, because I feel like that's really going to help me later on, wearing down that Jinx and the Magmortar. He actually has the Earth Power, so Yeah, change is gone, unfortunately. So it ended up being a sacrifice there. Not exactly what I wanted to do, but I still have Pokemon to handle his physical threats, which would be the Malamar, the Hariyama, and the Regirock, and Weezing can handle all of them. Even from half health, he should be able to take on 1 or 2 of them by himself, and hopefully by then we are in a position to win the match. But I'm going to go out into my Combusken here and finish this off with a Sky Uppercut. I was going to have to risk something either way. I really don't want him to have a switch in. That's why I don't want to go into my Samurott and have him get a safe switch into something. So I'm just going to go for the Sky Uppercut. That does take out the Cradily. We get the free speed boost, which is fantastic. And he is now going to go out into his Regirock, which I do not believe can kill me in 1 hit. Maybe he's just sending this out to try to T-Wave me or set up Stealth Rocks. I don't know if you would be that desperate to set up rocks. My team doesn't really care too much about that. And I don't have anything that would typically carry a Focus Sash other than Combusken, which is already out in the field. So I'm going to play a little bit aggressively here and set up a Swords Dance as he decides to go for the Superpower. I'm not sure what he was predicting there, or if that's just his best move to hit me with. Well, he has Stone Edge. Maybe he didn't want to risk the miss. I don't really know. But now Sky Uppercut is most definitely going to kill. And we do connect on that, so Regirock is out of the way. And we have 2 speed boosts. Oh, no, we have 3 speed boosts. So we're at +3 speed, +2 attack. He's going to go out and do his Malamar here. I could go for Sky Uppercut again, but I don't want to mess around with this thing because it is a threat. I do not want it setting up. So I'm just going to Flare Blitz it. I know that does cause me to incur quite a bit of recoil damage there and bring me down into the red zone, but it was worth it to get rid of it. I could sacrifice myself here with a Flare Blitz to get rid of this Jinx as well, but I have things that can handle it. Jinx can't really do a whole lot to Angela, so I'm just going to Sky Uppercut as he decides to pull a double switch into his Hariyama, and that gets critted and killed by the Sky Uppercut. I'm not sure how much that mattered exactly. If he had Fake Out, I was just going to go for Protect anyway. But yeah, he's going to forfeit there, so that's going to be the end of the battle, and we're going to call it an episode here. It ended up being a little bit shorter. In fact, I probably could do another battle, but we're going to call it quits here. In the 3rd part, we will finish this session up and probably have it be a little bit longer. I'll try to get it closer to a half an hour. Somewhere in that range. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure you're leaving a like, rating, or a comment, or whatever you would like to do, of course, and I will see you all next time. But until then, game on.